Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the US Chess Championship. Today we have round number 5 out of 13, and as always, we've got an amazing selection of games from the women's side, from the open side as well, including the last game, which was incredible in its own right because it was a Gambit that I've actually never seen before, which means if I haven't seen it, you probably haven't seen it, and it's also very rare to see a Gambit at the ultra-elite level of the game, particularly in something like a national championship. So that game is going to be great. All the games are going to be great. Here we go. I hope you enjoy the recap, and please excuse the dark lighting. My eyes hurt. It's been a long day. I've been working a lot in front of the computer, and I wanted to make a second video today for all of you, so you're going to have to tolerate a little bit of dark lighting. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I don't know. Anyway, we begin on the women's side. We have Begim Tokhirjonova, who I mistakenly called Mongolian originally. I thought the name was Mongolian, but somebody told me afterwards that she's originally from Uzbekistan, which is not Mongolia. So I would like to apologize. And Irina Krush, who is from the US for the most part. I don't think, oh God, I'm going to make another origin story mistake. Anyway, Sicilian defense. Knight f3, d6, d4, and we have a classical Sicilian. So black is not playing a6. Black plays knight c6, and you're going to see a move really soon that looks like it doesn't make any sense. Queen d3 is one of the lines. There's a lot of lines here. This is the Richter-Rause variation. But here, black plays a move that, to the untrained eye, looks like it just doesn't make any sense. So black has a lot of options here, including unpinning and castling. Black has a move here that looks like it makes sense, which is the move a6, maybe h6 to attack the bishop. I don't know, I'm just suggesting moves that look like they make sense. Bishop d7 does not look like it makes sense, right? But the point of bishop d7 is that after knight takes on c6, you are now going to take with the bishop. So you have no interest in taking on c6 with the pawn. Now, I don't know, maybe Irina was still going to do this. I don't think she was, though, because there's even this line e5 where black is now left with a completely dead bishop and really good pressure for white. So bishop e2 played by white. We have a6 and now bishop e7. And in a lot of these positions, we get opposite side castling and a very belligerent attack, which is exactly what we have now after 13 moves. Somebody is going to lose this game because this is in Sicilian, where both players have put their kings on opposite sides, and that is generally an indication of very nasty things to come. Here comes g4, all right? Begin plays the move g4. Computer not giving it the blessing. Computer actually wants white to attack in the center, but the problem with that is that there might actually be a sequence of exchanges. In fact, there might be, oh, actually, I'm sorry, rook d8 would be a terrible move because after take this, you lose your no. What? Then what's the blunder? Whoa. Oh, just this right away. Okay. All right. That's why, again, I'm doing the analysis and they're playing. You have to go bishop d8. Okay, the point is that after rook d8, this is not a sufficient amount of defense here. Okay, bishop d8 would defend the position. Anyway, computer wants to play e5 and trade all the pieces and basically make a draw, but white plays g4, black plays queen c7, and now white plays h4 as well. So it's the right of the pawns. Okay, they're all going into battle together. While it is adorable, it's not a Lord of the Rings movie, and yeah, they will probably all perish. But a5, okay? So, I mean, literally, you do not get something better than this. It's 4 pawns, it's 2 pawns, it's the C file, it's the G and the H files. Knight goes out of the way, black does not care, black advances down the board. Now, white tries to play knight d4 here with the intention of getting this bishop. Irina actually could have taken on a3. I'm sort of surprised she didn't, because if knight c6, you can throw in a check and then take, and I mean, I think black is just in has serious winning chances here. But if you take back on a3, like with the pawn, I don't know, that just feels like the b file is wide open. Feels like you have like bishop a4 and d5 in the future. But she didn't like something. She didn't like something after ba3. I don't exactly know what it was. Could have been something like queen a3, but then she might win this pawn. Anyway, I have not asked Irina what she did not like about the move, but she got out of the way, which is the second best move, and the attack very much continues. Now, I think at this point, white is realizing the attack is not so simple. For example, white might want to take, and then after something like g takes f6, play g5. Yes, but black is not going to do that. And after you play g5 attacking the bishop, black takes the knight and white loses, because white cannot go here, so there's this. So basically, white is always on the verge of losing the game on the spot, which is probably a problem. So white goes here and tries to play yeah, right. So white goes here and tries to play e5, and black plays h6, and rather than taking this, white goes back. and is like, well, if you take me, I'm going to get a big attack, please. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, that's obviously a good thing for white. So black is like, well, I'm not going to do that, e5. Now you got this hanging and this hanging. White jumps into f5. Now black takes. It's important to remove that piece. White takes on f6. Black takes on f6. White takes on f5. And just for a very brief moment, the position is equal. Hey, Levy, you're an idiot. It says minus 3.9. I know, but they don't know that. The material is equal. But white loses a pawn. Why is the position minus 3 nearly, but it's only a pawn difference? Well, actually, the best move for black apparently was e4. Sacrificing material and then b3. Looking for queen c2. And after rook d2, bishop takes b2. Like, Irina could have like executed the white king much faster, but she does it this way. And it's a little bit of a slower like build up to this attack. And here Irina also has this incredible move, which is just extremely disrespectful. I mean, that is just a vile move, just disallowing the white king to escape. Queen a1 is on the way. We get rook e8, and Irina does it in a little bit of a slower fashion, a little bit more respectful, but she takes a couple of pawns, and then she just tries to advance the e pawn down the board. White has to block that, and then she goes back for the king once again with queen a7, and the game is simply over as the white king, as you can very clearly tell here, is in some serious trouble and is running out of any sort of measures of safety, and white resigns. So just kind of interesting. I mean, this was the position after 14 moves. Actually, this was after 13 moves. And the Sicilian is one of these positions where the game hangs on a knife's edge for about like 9 to 10 moves. And if you just don't play the right way, you will get obliterated. And that's sort of what happened here to white's position. I mean, black was set up in a much more perfect way to create some sort of attack and a faster attack. And that's what happened. I mean, it's like two heavyweights battling. Now, the next game is a personal attack. This game got me mad when I saw it. And I feel like I need to defend the honor of my opening, which you can see on the board. This is kind of like the young generation versus the old guard. Anna Zatonsky is a super accomplished chess player. I think she's been multiple times U.S. Women's Champ. I don't know if she has GM norms, but I think she used to be like 2450. And she plays a Caro Kann, and here she doesn't play my course, which is available on www.chessly.com. By the way, Gotham course. That's my new courses learning platform. You really should check it out. And white plays h4, which is in my course. This is the Tal variation. Now, Ashrita here after h6 plays bishop d3, so it's a major sideline. What I like to play after h6 is g4. I like to get ultra aggressive and then like sack this pawn, and you know the light squares of black are wide open. But yes, this is all my repertoire. But here she plays this, which is just a good line as well. But g4 is much more aggressive. And in this position, this entire approach by white to play queen d3 and then h5 is actually kind of hilarious. It's very trendy nowadays. I think somebody's recommended it, must have recommended it in some sort of recent development, because this is sort of what white does. Like, white just does this. White does not overcommit on the queen side. White just plays like this, disallows black from moving, and black has a tough time equalizing. So you see black playing a couple of natural moves, but just sort of lacking space, right? And I think Anna already has made a mistake, which is kind of crazy. I think instead of playing the way she played, I think something here, like you have to play c5 a little bit faster, and I think this knight should be going to c6. This is not a bad move in and of itself, but knight e7 and queen c7 is the wrong approach. I think black has to play more aggressively or put the knight in a different position first, and maybe even play for like b5. The way she does it is she allows white to get a really good structure, and now white plays f4, and black is ill-equipped to deal with f5. Because after f5 herself, here comes g4. Oh my goodness, white is using everything. And that's what happens when you have a dominant space advantage. So now if pawn takes g4, yes, white can play queen g6, which absolutely white can do, but after white plays queen g6 and wins this pawn back, white is going to play f5. And black's position completely disintegrates. Like, completely disintegrates. So Zatonsky now has to go back and play defense, but look at white. White's got the knight on e3. That's exactly what you need. You need just pressure on f5. fg, f5. Long castles. I'm not even taking your pawn. Knight f4 to get into e6. We have this, and now black starts trying to fight back a little bit with queen, but look at the knight, and look at the knight, and look at the knight. That knight is a hero. Look at that knight's journey. That knight went from b1 to a3, c2, e3, f5, d6, f7, d8. Never let them kill your dreams, okay? The knight galloped the entire length of the board. Knight takes e5, queen b3, offering a trade of queens. And it took only 25 moves for Ashrita Eswaran to deliver a prep bomb in this game. All right? She played my course up to here, then she forgot my course, but no, I'm just kidding. She obviously has her own study materials, as many, many strong title players do. Yeah, well, I mean, Chessly.com, you know what I'm saying? This is the... Did you guys know that the move c5, which is the secondary main line, actually has a positive win rate for black at like 2,000 and below? So for like 99% of you, this move c5 actually wins more games for black than it loses, which is nuts. Like 52, 53% or something completely ridiculous, which is not supposed to happen. Like black scores worse than white in the opening. That's generally the case. So I really like c5 and I play both, but it is what it is. Anyway, the next game is with Hans Niemann. So as we know, we are going to be covering all of Hans Niemann's games because, well, he's kind of the man of the hour right now, in good ways and in bad ways. I suppose in more bad ways than good ways. But yeah, you know, some of you in the comments, not a lot of you, 99% of you are wonderful. But I've been started getting attacked as like a Hans excuser or like a Hans apologist. Is that what it is? And I'm just going to say this once and for all, because I've said this on Twitch. I've said this like here and there. Folks, I don't care. I think you need to understand this about me. I don't care about the guilt or the innocence. Like, in the sense of, I'm hoping for the best for the world of chess, and I'm as eager to see a conclusion to all this as you are, right? Like, who's ever going to try this case and see all the facts, like, I'm gonna... But if he's playing over the board, one of two things is happening, okay? That's it. There's just one of two things is going on. Number one, Hans is completely legit over the board. That's just, right? He's like a legit over the board. Number two, he's cheating over the board. Like, that's it. There's no... So both of those situations are fascinating to me, because if he's actually successfully cheating over the board, I mean, what? I mean, that's like... The whole chess world is in a crisis in that case, right? Like, the whole integrity of the game. But if he's not... the witch hunt of the last few weeks has been... He'll write a book about it. I mean, he might write a book about it even if he's guilty. But the point is that those are the only two situations, right? I mean, only Hans himself knows the truth, I suppose. So I'm just going to cover his games. I'm going to excitedly cover his games because I don't know what to expect. I'm excited for both of those situations, all right? I don't know what I'm cheering for, but I'm not cheering for a Berlin defense, though. Hans plays a Berlin endgame against Linier Dominguez and actually messes up his move order. So in this position, the most common move is g4, played about 90% of the time. And then after knight h4, bishop h4, and some move, black always puts the king on e8. Oh, sorry, c8. I misspoke. C8, and then oftentimes we'll walk the king out this way in a lot of positions. And, you know, I don't understand the Berlin endgame. You can't pay me enough to explain it to you. But Hans messed up and actually mixed up his move order and moved this king here, which is actually the best move. King e8 is... I don't know about best or... I mean, like, it's all equal, okay? Like, it's zeros, okay? But king e8 is actually not a bad move at all. The only thing is, in this position, the move h5 is not great. And after the move g5, white actually has some opportunity to maybe lock away that dark-squared bishop. It's a very fascinating game. It's a very fascinating position. And I think Hans went wrong here. Played like f5 and then got himself in a little bit of a pickle because his bishop sort of got trapped. Then rook h5, and then here Linier could have played this move, which would have made it kind of tough for black to move. But Hans sort of fought back. I mean, he fought back, right? He got his rook down over here. That's exactly what he's trying to do. And basically, if he's able to break out, he's going to be fine. And he sacrifices an exchange here with bishop takes f4. Rook h5, and this position might look crazy to you. It looks like black is, you know, in some trouble, but he's not. Black has two pawns for the exchange, so it's rook and bishop. It's rook versus bishop and two pawns, so there is nothing there. And It's just a fortress, so there ain't much. I mean, black trades the pawns, and then Hans gave a fun interview after this game. He was like, well, I don't know if it's fun for him, but he was saying how he has like some stalkers, and they're like following him to cafes or whatever, or even like people in the cafes when he orders food say the order speaks for them for itself. Crazy times. Crazy times. But a pretty effortless draw for him with black. He was maybe okay, you could argue, in a little bit of pressure for a move or two. But the next two games are really fun. So Sam Shanklin described this game as a horrible game, okay? He described this game as horrible. I don't know what Elshan's thoughts of this game were. So first of all, Elshan plays a6, which is the O'Kelly Sicilian. It's not considered great, but it's tricky. The best moves here for white are c4 as well as c3 to try to play d4. There is some line d5, and Sam could have the option to go to a c3 Sicilian kind of position. But instead of that, Sam just plays g3. So the players just get a giant nothing burger from the opening, meaning it's a completely theoretically undisclosed position. And Sam begins attacking the queen side, and Elshan begins fighting back on the queen side, and then that sort of freezes. And then Elshan begins being confrontational with the move knight to d4. So from the opening, after this mass exchange of pieces, the only person who can have an advantage is black, apparently. So, and that is with the move f5, okay? And we will get into that. Black will play f5. But he plays a5. Sam plays bishop a3, and after the game, Sam was like, well, I thought, you know, here, if a4, I'm better because I get my pawn here. And as it turns out, not only is Sam not better if he gets his pawn here, he's just convincingly worse, according to the computer. Which just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it just looks like this position should be better for white, but it's not, and white has to trade queens, because if white doesn't, the queen gets in. So, bishop a3, but Elshan doesn't play that. He does this, which gives white a very powerful bishop. But now we have an exchange of rooks. And this position, right? And now Sam's like, well, I can't let him get over here, so I'm gonna play f4 myself. And now I'm gonna bring my king. And black plays e4, trying to instigate in the center. White plays queen d4, sliding out of the way. Bishop g7 comes back. And I think that if Elshan repeated moves here, we would have just had a draw. So I think the draw is in hand, but Elshan says, no, I don't want to draw. So now we trade. Rook d1. Okay, check. Rook d2, queen goes to c4, and now we have a queen trade. So now we have a rook bishop 5 endgame. Problem for black is the pawns are very scattered. Very, very scattered. Rook c8, rook e3, rook c4. Okay, black has good defense here. Nice defense. g4. And now it's going to come back to these pawns. Oh, well, no, it's not, because now we have a blockade. So everything is blocked. Literally, there is not a single pawn that can move except for the h-pawns. What is going to happen with the h-pawns? Well, rook e2 back, okay? E3. So if you take, you're going to lose g4, right? No. Because if you do that, then I'm going to play rook e5, and after de5, I win. It's kind of insane. Your king cannot stop my pawn. King f8, d7, and you can. The same thing, it doesn't matter where you are. It's a completely insane position. So it's not that after rook e3, it's this. Okay, it's just a draw, boys. Please, you've made it to move 40. Let's make the... Oh. Wait. Whoa. So the last move of the time control, move 40. Black has any rook move, any bishop move, and basically any king move. I mean, don't go king h8, but you actually can play that move. Literally, like king f8, rook c8, bishop d2, and bishop c1. Every single legal... Maybe not bishop c1. Did the computer not like this? Ah, because you would lose this pawn. Right. But bishop d2 is fine. Right, because apparently you would go here. Okay, terrific. Anyway, Elshan picks the one move that allows this same sacrifice. And now, apparently, this is winning for white. Apparently, it's winning for white. So it's never too late in endgames to blunder exchange sacrifices. But look at this. Rook takes b4. Both rooks are hanging. If you play c b4, d e5, d6, king f7. Wait, what's happening? Who is catching who? So if white plays f6, white loses the game because king f6 and this pawn is stopped. If white plays d7, then this and this. So you have to go here. Black plays g4. But look at this. King d5. The king is going to be allowed to run, but now d7. And now, when the king goes to e7, there is king c6 with the threat of king c7 and queen. So you would queen with check. Wait. Oh, you would play f6 first. Oh my god. You would play f6, and then you would queen with check. Same concept, wrong execution. f7, and you would queen with check. Oh my goodness. You just need your king to guard the pawn. You don't need the king to escort the pawn. Okay. So instead of that, we have g2. Now we have queen and queen. We have check, king g8, and apparently there's still a chance to maybe hold this. But check here. And Sam puts to bed any of those plans, because you can check me all you want. I'm going to defend my queen, and my pawn is at perfect distance to prevent you from getting closer. And the game ends when the king gets to the other side of the board, and king e7, and there's just simply nothing to be done because of queen f6. Sam called this a horrible game. He said that Elshan made the final mistake. He felt like none of these moves were good. The players were just playing, and then Elshan just went here, like kind of an absent-minded pass-back move, and he should have gone here instead. Or maybe rook c8 or king f8 to attack, because again, king f8, rook h7, now this actually works. And Sam gets a win. And that takes me to my last game of the day. If you skipped ahead here, for once, I'm actually not going to yell at you. I kind of don't blame you. This game was really spectacular. There was a lot of big battles today, but this one really took the cake. So the story goes that A Wonder chose this opening because he had lunch with a professor at the school that he goes to, which is University of Chicago. Flexing, by the way, that this man goes to like a, you know, very high-level institution. Yeah. Anyway, he had lunch with a professor, and the professor was like, yo, you should play this Gambit. But not exactly this Gambit. Apparently, he recommended a different Gambit, which is e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and, bishop c... I think this is what A Wonder said in his interview. He wanted A Wonder to play d4, the Deutsch Gambit. And this is in my White Gambits course on chessly.com. You should check it out. There's a free sample on all the courses. Really, I'm telling you, the whole first chapter is available on all the courses for free. It's one of the benefits of the new site. But A Wonder didn't want to play this because, quote, it's a worse endgame for white by force, which I don't even know what he's talking about. So these 2700s really know a lot about chess, and you're going to be like, oh, Gotham, that's so funny. You plugged your course, and it's a worse endgame by force. Yeah, if I didn't know that it was a worse endgame by force after like 20 moves of theory, trust me, nobody at your level, even if it's like 2100, is going to know. My favorite line here is knight d4, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, g5, getting this bishop out, and you play this move f4. So one of the most savage bits of preparation, and this is all I'm going to show, but this is awesome. You sack all of it. Great. This is amazing. Anyway, instead of that self-promotion, A Wonder plays the Scotch Gambit. Now, the difference between the Scotch Gambit is that the pawn is already on d4. So you will notice in the thing that I just showed, you have the option to take with the bishop. And if knight f6, d4, this is kind of a similar thing, but in the game itself, black has the option to go bishop c5 already. So now knight g5. Now, I've never seen this move order. I've never seen this because I thought that it didn't do anything. Well, as it turns out, kaboom! Oh, okay. And the point is, it kind of looks like a Jerome Gambit. Remember the Jerome Gambit? Well, the point is that you do this. So you get your material back, and Paul Morphy here with black multiple times has played the move d6. Now, Paul Morphy, like, beat up tomato cans of chess players, and he was also, like, a brilliant chess player himself, so he made it look really easy. Yeah, d6 is what Paul Morphy played. In this game, though, Levon plays d5. Okay? d5 is a aggressive move. So, sorry, I got distracted. I have to respond to a message after this recap. I'm not going to respond to it now. I'll respond to it in about 7 minutes when this recap is over. Now, the move d5 is intending to get white to take, and then to get white to trade, knight b4, and, you know, white just gets absolutely nothing. The other idea of d5 is that if white plays pawn takes d5, which looks like a very natural move, rook e1 is actually, rook e8 is just winning for black. King f1, there's this move b6, and bishop a6, and the game is over because of en passant checkmate. Bishop a, rook e1 is next. But that is not what A Wonder plays. A Wonder does this. And now black has a couple of moves. Black can like shove this pawn forward, but after the move f3, with this opening up, this is a very big problem. And, you know, Levon, left to determine what's happening in the position, makes it an accuracy. He plays the move rook e8, which in and of itself is not like a losing mistake by any stretch of the imagination. But there was better moves, such as h6, preventing bishop to g5, and anything going to g5, such as bishop to f5, which would have just held solid, prevented the move f3 because this stays closed now. And instead of, you know, rook e8, it could have been a bit more solid. And now A Wonder just kind of gets to keep some pieces on the board, and black's king is very open. Now, Levon, once again, can be solid, I don't know, solid, but he gets aggressive. I mean, he's trying to, like, trap the rook. Now, bishop d2, very timely move, because if knight c2, whoops, and it's the black king getting bullied again. Queen h6, queen g7 as well. So now queen back to d6. And now knight c3. White gets this very important tempo with the bishop, and suddenly Levon's position is going from bad to worse. He now has to play king g8 first. By not doing that, he gives white this. Now if he does king g8, then knight b5. This. Black can't guard everything. Oh my goodness. So he plays c6. But now rook a d1. Every move A Wonder is making is playing in true 19th century style, which is sacrifice now, think later, opponent has weak king. He developed 3 pieces in 3 turns. Look at this. Boop, boop, boop. Not even slowing down for a minute. Bishop f5. Now it's too late to consolidate. g4! And there's nowhere to go, because if you back up to d7, which actually is the best move, I'm going to keep attacking you. So instead of that, he tries to provoke A Wonder. And A Wonder's like, nope, I'm going to keep my pawn defended. Get out of there. And look at this. The bishop has to go back. And now A Wonder takes the pawn on h6 because it's free. Knight tries to plug the white position. Now we've got queen h7 is on the way. Queen e5. Defending against that with queen g7 ideas. How do you activate this rook without moving it? Play the move Ben Feingold. Tells you not to play f3. Listen, never play f3 unless you have to. In the words of Matt Barnes, basketball player, violence is never the answer, except for when it is. Or something like that. Sounds like a philosopher. Yeah, you can't play f3 until the moments when you can. And now there's a problem. F takes e4 check. King back to g8. The bishop blocks the enemy rook. The king just slides to the corner like, peace out. Y'all do the rest. Black's bishop tries to re-enter the fight. Queen g5. You think the bishop is guarding the king. Rook takes f7. Rook takes h6. The rook is hanging. This rook is hanging. Oh my. Oh my. In the words of the LA Clippers basketball reporter, oh me, oh my. Back in the Lob City days. Oh my goodness, look at this. Both rooks hanging for white. The black rook hanging for black. Rook d3 deflects the queen over here. And queen to f6 no longer being covered. Queen g7 is made. Queen g6 is made in a few moves if the rook leaves. Rook g7 is going to be made. Everything is made. This king has been left to survive because there are absolutely no checks. The hero, the knight on c3 covering everything. The queen and the rook cover this and this. You can play this move. You can give me another check. But my king is going to walk over to safety. g5. And Levon resigns. An absolutely breathtaking display by A Wonder Liang. He played this game as if he was a swashbuckling chess aficionado from the early 1800s. All right, my man showed up to this game like, all right, here we go. Like literally, you would expect like if A Wonder was like this mysterious fellow from the 19th century who showed up to a tournament and just sacrificed all his pieces and then won them back and then sacked all his center pawns and then won them back, and then didn't trade queens and just developed all his pieces like on turbo speed. I mean, he played this game like a beast at the US Championships, beating a top 10 grandmaster, and he's a part-time chess player. He's a student, for God's sake. A Wonder Liang probably just got done with homework. All right? I don't know what he takes. I don't know what his major is. And then he just showed up, played a Gambit, and beat one of the best chess players in the world. Take a bow. A Wonder, they don't call you A Wonder for nothing. And I forgive you for calling the opening that I recommend for, you know, my protege's average. Folks, I will see you all for round number 6. I hope you enjoyed that Gambit. Add it to your repertoire, add it to your games, or just, you know, play my White Gambit's repertoire on chessly.com. I will see you in the next recap. Get out of here.